Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to Sim Broadcasts for the second round of the MRC E-Challenge 2026 season. My name is Travis Mehlinger. I'm joined in the booth by my old friend, Tom Jones, and a relative newcomer to the team, Adal Joshkin. Adal, let's start with you. How are you doing today? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing fine. How about you?
Doing very well. And Tom, my old friend, needs no introduction, but I'll let you give yourself one anyway.
Sorry, back a little bit rusty, back again for my yearly appearance for E-Challenge. Need to remember which binds are which. Yeah, so really looking forward to this. I heard last race anyway, was some brilliant action on track, so I'm looking forward to seeing a bit of that again today, Travis.
It was absolutely fantastic. Everything you heard about it was absolutely true. Today, the second round at the Mexico City E-Prix circuit, a layout with some graphical upgrades. If you look at the graphics coming by on the screen there, a track mod done by Michael Malik, who is also one of the organizers for the series. Once again, round 2 today, bigger grid than we had 1 week ago, and we should have cars going on to qualify in the background in just a few moments' time. There you can see the track map. Mexico City E-Prix circuit mirrors the real-life circuit, though it cuts off the Formula One Grand Prix circuit. A hard right turn past concrete barriers all the way around this long, sweeping right-hander before we navigate narrow section of the circuit to the far end. Turns 5 and 6 come around the sweeping left-hand bends, and then all the way back into the stadium section. An attack boost right there in that hairpin in the middle of the stadium, turn 12, before you come back around the sweeping right-hand corner back onto the main straightaway. Challenging here, lots of time on throttle, but drivers needed to make sure they conserve energy the best they can. We'll pull up the remaining schedule in just a moment. Once again, today, round 2. Round 3 in a couple weeks' time will be at... Waiting for our director in the background to bring up some graphics for us. There we go. The South City Northern Circuit. We'll be back at South City in a couple weeks' time. And then the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit, New York there. And then the Norris Ring, which featured earlier in the Sim broadcast season, now bringing that to E-Challenge. That's our calendar business out of the way. Let's take a look at the car. Tom, tell us all about it.
So it is, of course, the E-Challenger Evo mod. Use, of course, the qualifying and sprint variation, having the all-wheel drive system. So yeah, a little bit different to last year. The power is the same across both, and of course then it's just the non-all-wheel drive version for the feature race, which of course has regen, which the all-wheel drive version does not have. So I believe the times they ended up lapping a bit slower with that one. Of course, it's a bit better. So going on to the Drivers' Championship now. Gabber leading the way from 4 points ahead of Imran Mazar, and Nico Pantola on the podium leading there. Travis runs through the rest.
After Nico Patola, Karolis Machiotis, Sobis there in 4th position, was looking strong early on in the feature race a couple weeks ago, and then faded. Timu Sarkinen, first of the Sarkinen brothers, in 5th position. Gerard Fornielis in 6th position, and Matias Luego behind him. Roni Kronpush finished in 8th with Cyril Basset, who looked so strong, had pace, but had a mare of a weekend after the sprint race kicked off. Mika Sarkinen rounds out the top 10. Stephen Martin, Gabriel Cañas, and Vitalijs Laguga showed up, and then had some pace, but some difficulties during the on-track action. 13th in the championship. Don't see him in the server today. Hopefully he does make an appearance later in the season and can redeem himself. A disappointing performance a couple weeks ago. Teams Championship, Yes Motorsports. Resident comedian slash fast driver Gabber driving for Yes Motorsports in Sidus colors in this series. They're at the tip top on account of his performance a couple weeks ago. MRC there in 2nd position, pretty far adrift of Gabber in the Yes team. Team Sidus there in 3rd, Zafaralis in 4th. Optivo, Race Green Autosports. Y Electric is really difficult. Seek Cyril Basset, the driver for the Y Electric, is a really difficult team, followed by SM Racing there in 8th position. Still waiting for cars to go on in the background. Actually, I think the qualifying timer is ticking down, so we should have cars coming out in just a moment. There they are, leaving the exit pit lane. So we've got our business out of the way, just in time for cars to come out on track. Tom, Adal, take them through these first few corners.
sweeping right-hander here out of the pit lane, as you see, for coming into the tight left. See Patrick Tony making the turns, and then of course you're onto the hairpin here. The honestly brilliant job with the circuit recreation here. It's so much more accurate and more like is in real life, with the walls lining as well, with the different colors we've got going on. It's brilliant to see how this track has really developed. It's been in for the last 3 seasons for E-Challenge, and so it's great to see the evolution we've had overall here as we're watching him coming into the stadium section, just taking it carefully, making sure he's got the temperature in the tires, ready to go. A little bit of wiggling back and forward, and like another is running a bit wide there, which probably isn't ideal, but definitely getting ready to go there. Adul, got any words?
Yeah, so I want to talk about the new track, obviously. So we may not see the full difference in the team point of view, but the most important thing is that the driver's side. What?
Sorry about the audio issues in the background. We'll try to sort that out. Adol was trying to tell us about the new circuit, so we'll come back to him in just a second. Here we see this is Yunus. Yunus Durmaz, Turkish driver, new this weekend. I don't believe he's been in before, coming through the stadium section now. Didn't look to see if he's here on a flying lap or this is out lap. Cutting the tires awfully close, so guessing he's out on a flying lap over the right-hand curbing there before he comes out of the stadium. Tight right-hand corner here, and opens open entry, open on the exit, but very tight at the apex. A little bit tricky. And here, this last corner, catching a lot of drivers out through all the seasons where we featured this circuit. Feels like you should be able to go wide open throttle, but you cannot. Got to breathe it a little bit. And now, Durmaz over the line, minute 12.237, well off the pace set by now Pablo Saitone, who takes 0.8 out of the previous provisional pole sitter. That was Elder Kodrich, who was on pole. There's Magic coming through in third position, the number 43 machine. Pablo Saitone setting the benchmark now. Ooh, and as I said, the Pablo Saitone at the top. Cyril Basset now goes a second and a half, a little more than second and a half quicker. Minute 3.462 at the tip top. We'll check in with Adol, make sure everything is going okay there. Tom, observations so far?
Yeah, interesting looking at some of the times going. Kadrick, I saw, got the last corner horribly wrong and ended up slamming into the wall on the pit straight. So he's definitely got quite a bit more in him. Just a bit of a mistake coming out the final corner cost him a good chunk of time on the way down to turn 1. As Carlos Montoyotis just gone in with a 102.4. Absolute flying lap to take provisional pole. Just had notification Gabba has joined as well, so I'm sure we'll have him joining in the qualifying very, very shortly. There, the first 11 on track there. A bit of a 16-second spread between first and last currently, but I assume it's probably because Vitor is just getting warmed up, ready to go, and that will those gaps will definitely close on up as we get into this. I believe Adal is now back and ready to go. Adal, you saying stuff about the circuit? Do you want to continue?
Oh yeah, apologies for the connection fail. So I want to talk about the driver's side point of view. Lots of things changed when we think about the braking points. I'm seeing different lines right now, like comparing to the last year. So it's really interesting. We can see it on the time board as well, like new times that we're seeing right now, new improvements. And it's really cool to see that even graphical improvements on the track effect on driving on these drivers.
Yes, indeed. Nico Patola coming across the line now. Somebody spins in front of him. Couldn't tell who that was. That was a green car. And now Nico appears to be on a flying lap, well on pace coming through the first few corners. That was Magic looping the car in the first corner. So Nico on a flying lap on his way down to the first, this double apex hairpin, turn 5 and 6, as we watch Magic resume his lap. And spins again, so not going so well for Magic there. Carlos Machiota, second position, has been pipped by Imran Azar. No big surprise there. Got a nice onboard from Carlos this weekend, coming through the sweeping left-hander on the way down to turn 9. I believe this will be his second hot lap. He's got one on the board already. this is a new rule for this season. We talked about it a little bit last time out. Mentioned again today that the drivers have an open session. They can go out whenever they like in the 12 minutes. Oh, tire stack in the way. Looks like he hit it squarely and punted it out of the way, and he chooses to abort this. No, he doesn't. Looked like he was off the pace and aborting the lap, but he comes flying through the second to last corner. Now in the last corner now, trying to get the car tucked in all the way down to the apex. And we'll see if this is an improvement as we come across the line. He does improve, not able to go quicker than Imran Azar, as Gabber is going well out of the way in the stadium to let cars on flying laps through. I was about to say, as we watch Magic come through the final corner, probably starting a flying lap unless he's putting in a banker. Coming through the final corner now. Yeah, this will be his second lap, and I doubt it'll be an improvement considering how he got through the first few corners so poorly. Drivers, open session, 4 minutes remaining. Each of them gets 2 flying laps to set during this session. They are not allowed any more than that. Tom Gabber coming through the first corner now. Take him away.
Yeah, and he's got it horribly wrong at turn 1, right into the barrier. So he's going to have to go there. I believe, just hearing, that was his second lap. So he's done. He's going to be starting in 6th position there if no one else beats him. Mika Sarkkinen here as well, I believe, is the last flying lap here, currently running. Sorry, I'm just getting correction. Roni's also going to have a flying lap. Mika Sarkkinen here with that great onboard, using the VR headset there, proper driver's eye perspective, just showing exactly what he's looking at the whole way through and exactly how he's seeing it, keeping it nice and tidy through the stadium section, maintaining plenty of speed round there in nicely and not letting it run too wide and holding it right long. It just feels like watching this onboard, that corner, the triple right just goes on and on and on. And then the long sweeping right here as we come out onto the final, through the final corner, sorry, it just keeps going, doesn't it? All the way to the line here. And we're going to see, is he going to be able to improve? Oh, sorry, that was the outlap. I thought that was the hot lap.
Tom's a little confused. Sorry about that. Outlap through the first corner, coming down to the 50-meter board, jump on the brakes and get the car into the left. Not all the way down to the apex on the left, but all the way out to the wall on the right. Beautiful driver's eye view here. We took down to the VR onboard, but this picture just as good looking over the driver's left shoulder. Not optimistic for an improvement here, Tom, after he's battered the wall on one side after completely missing it on the other.
Well, he's definitely going to get some heat with that front right tyre after hitting the wall and it pointing inwards a little bit, but still going well, definitely carrying a little bit more speed through the stadium section this time. Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference between this being a flying and not the outlap now. But getting it going around smooth through the section is, as just to say that he hits the wall, but giving lots of run through into that second to last corner, and now for about half an hour of turning right ever so slightly as he's hit the wall again. He's definitely struggling a bit with car balance, not able to get it turned in at all, running very, very wide. So it's going to be a very disrupted car. Manages to hold on to it over the bumps and it goes about a second faster for himself there as well.
Roni Prong push through the final corners of the stadium. He'll exit the stadium here, turning right. Good pace. Looks like he's using the rear of the car to bring it round really well. Just clips the wall with the left rear. And now this interminable final corner, breathing out of the power to get it all the way down to the apex. Just touches the sausage curb on the inside. Doesn't go all the way out over these nice blue curbs on the outside. Roni Prong push still in 10th position. 2.5 seconds of drift as we watch Stephen Martin come through the final corner now and across the line. Stephen Martin does not improve. Imran Azar through the 9th corner coming into the stadium. Now through 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 left-hand corners for days. Just going inside the attack boost zone there. Now leaving the stadium, rear of the car coming around very nicely as he sets up the corner. Just on the power, a little bit early. Little bit of wheel spin coming out. Now using the rear of the car to pitch it around. Lots of wheel spin, putting down some beautiful tire marks beautifully over the exit curb and across the line. He does improve ever so slightly. Looked like a few hundredths. I saw the times tick down ever so slightly from positions 2 all the way down to 17. So we watch Gerard Fornieles now coming through this double right-hand corner in 5 and 6 on his way down the back straight and into the stadium section.
Yeah, Imran Razar, I think he actually managed to pull about 2.5 tenths more. So a real fly of him, even with all the drifting. Oh, a huge moment there as he went sliding on in, got the car pitched in the rear, just wanted to rotate, keeping it very, very tight on these lefts through the arena section here. Wonder if that's going to cost him a bit of time or if he knows something that I definitely don't. So I am quite rusty at the end of the day. So, but keeping it very nicely pitched for the double right there, for holding it on out, keeping as much speed as possible, for pitching it in to try and get towards that inside, just wide of the and onto those bumps. Don't want to be there. You want to get off there before that yellow. And there we go. Wow, what a time! Brilliant sort of run back there. Just still over a second off Imran Razar, and no one seems to be able to get anywhere near to him as Sarkinen, the other Sarkinen, comes back on out. And I think that is his flying lap, moving him up to 4th place as well. So, but no one really able to get within touching distance of Imran Razar in this qualifying session.
And I believe that is all the cars across the line setting flying laps. In the background, seeing that car number 22, that is Gerard Fornieles, Sufor, is being asked to report to stewards for failure to follow race director instructions. So we'll see what's transpired there. Perhaps did too many laps, is what Elmo is telling me in my ear. Doesn't have team speak, so he's going to get yelled at for the. Oh, he says I have team speak, so misunderstood that. Either way, he's going to get a talking to by one of the JPs. Here we have the qualifying results. Adal, why don't you take us down the list?
Yeah, so we have Imran Azar at the first place. We have Motozeus at the second place. I want to first talk about Imran Azar's lap, really fast lap, nearly a second off the second place. I saw him drifting through the corners, not stopping any time. And we have Bissy at the 3rd place, Sarkinen at the 4th, Ferniolis at the 5th place, and we have Luengo at the 6th. We see Gabor, a surprising place from the Gabor, which at the 7th place. We could have seen him on the top if he didn't mess that up, but he's at the 7th place right now. We have the Pantola at the 8th, Martin at the 9th, and Reno Krompus at the 10th place. This is our top 10. We're getting into the 11th place. Kardrik at 1.041. 11th place, we have Viter. We have Sarkinen. Again, the other Sarkinen at 13th place. At 14th place, we have, I'm not going to able to pronounce this correctly. Apologies from now. Satan. And we have
Pablo Saitone.
And Durmas at the 15th place. We have Magic and Vidal at the last 2 orders.
And notably there, Gabber in the 7th position, championship leader, previous season's champion, the reigning champion, had just come from another event right before this one. He finished the, which one was it? I'll wait for somebody to remind me in my ear, but was there at another event, jumped out of that one and immediately into this one, was switching numbers as the qualifying session was beginning. So Gabber doing double duty today, and I expect to probably be doing some more racing after this. A true lover and a man impassioned by Live for Speed. So we wait now in the background to set grid for the sprint race. Take one more look at the track here. You can see the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the Mexico City E-Prix circuit. We will have 16 laps in the sprint in just a few moments. We'll take a free practice break. The drivers get to go refamiliarize themselves with the changes to their machinery before they go to the feature race for 27 laps. A long feature here at a track that spends a lot of time on throttle. So I think even more so than at South City 2 weeks ago, drivers will be challenged by conserving energy, making sure they can go the entire distance. We saw last week a couple brilliant performances just shattered in disappointing fashion at the end of the sprint and at the end of the feature races. Drivers who had done so well and then came up just a bit short on energy in the waning laps. Hopefully, don't see any more of that today, but this series has been known to catch drivers out. They can't just go flat out, and they can't go in and top off with energy. They got to make it last the entire distance. No indication of weather yet today. Everything dry, but there is always the chance of some complicating weather factors during these races. We'll keep an eye on that and see what transpires before we get on track for the sprint race. Drivers greeting up in the background right now. We'll take a break for just a minute while everybody gets sorted out by the race directors, and then we will join everybody on the grid for the presentation and then take off for the sprint race. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back. Grid set in the background. Drivers readying up, so we should be on track in just a moment's time. Once again, this is the 2026 season of MRC E-Challenge. This is the second round at the Mexico City E-Prix circuit, a custom layout with a track mod on it to make it a bit more attractive. There you can see, once again, 16 turns, some of them rather longer than others. Turns 2 and turn 16, full American oval treatment, though they aren't banked. The third corner, fourth, fifth, sixth, complex, nice, tight, winding circuit close to the barriers and then into the stadium beginning at turn 9. Attack boost zone at turn 12. Drivers will be compelled to drive through there once in the sprint race to pick up a little bit of extra power. And then during the final, they'll have 3 trips through the attack boost zone to gain a little bit of extra energy all the way around the circuits, which they will then have to manage to ensure they're conserving all of the energy they have available in their machines. No stopping in pit lane to top off on fuel. These cars all electric. What you get at the start is what you have for the entire race. Sprint race coming up in just a moment. Still only one driver readied up in the background. 16 laps, 1 attack boost available again. And I did misspeak a moment ago. 2 attack modes available in the final. Not 3. 3 was last year, 2 this year. And the starting grid for the feature race will have the top 10 finishers from the sprint race reversed. Whoever finishes in first position starts 10th, 2nd, 9th, and so on down to the pole position in the feature race. Gentlemen, Tom, Adul, my favorite section, my favorite, I'm at a loss for words here. Tom, we'll just punt it over for you. We do bold predictions, and you're back looking at the qualifying results, seeing Gabber there in 7th, some quicker drivers further down the order. Give it to me. Your predictions for the sprint race today.
I'm going to go on, I reckon Imran Mazar is going to win it unless anything exciting happens into turn 1. I just think from his pace in qualifying, he's over 0.7 of a second faster. So I just think he's going to win it. I think Gabber is I think it's just because the changing car might just caught him out for his initial pace slightly. So I expect to see him come back through because he is one of those guys you can never count out ever. A little bit surprised to see Nico down in 8th as well. So I think he's going to sort of pick up pace a bit. That being said, we're up to 17 cars today. So I reckon that someone's going to end up going a little bit backwards and maybe even upside down by turn 1. Adul, what do you reckon?
So I mostly agree with you. I think Imran Hazar has too much pace and he's going to take the win in the sprint. And but the thing I disagree with you is I didn't see Gabor practice this track this much. I seen Imran Hazar putting some laps throughout the days, and he may be getting closer, but I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to be on the podium this sprint race if nothing funny happens at the first turn.
So we've turned over a new leaf today in the bold predictions, mostly serious suggestions and less for entertainment value. All perfectly reasonable sounding to me as drivers are readied up in the background. We wait for the course car. Tim Donater has just readied up. And now we prepare the track. We'll go onto the grid. It's Michael Malik in the grid presentation car. We'll read off these drivers' names in just a moment, and we will kick off the sprint race. 17 cars on a track for the sprint. Imran Hazar at the front. As we have repeated a few times already, minute 1.325, 8 tenths clear. Carlos Machiotis starting alongside him in second position. Waiting for everything to ready up in the background. All the drivers ready to go and all the course cars ready. Waiting on the track. There we go. We've got the track up and ready. Joining the grid now. And still waiting for a few cars to load in. We'll pick up Michael Malik in just a moment and read off the grid. And then off we'll go. A couple technical difficulties in the background, waiting on race control, and also on a bit of broadcast equipment. We'll get this going in just a second. Michael Malik there, turning the wheel. Michael is raring to go, champing at the bit, ready to present these drivers. And just scooting forward now, there we go. On the right side of your screen, pole position, driver's left is Imran Hazar. Alongside him, Carlos Machiotis, the number 34, Yes Motorsports machine. Cyril Basset, strong performance in qualifying once again this week, starts in third position alongside the number 69, Timo Sarkkinen, there in fourth. Gerard Fornieles, late, quick lap, put him up to fifth position on the grid. And there you can see Matias Luego working his wrists and the steering rack in that MRC E-Challenger there at 6th position. Gabber starts in 7th. The German Sidus colors, but driving for another team today. Further down the order, but we can expect to see him toward the front. Nico Patola, Sidus, usual Sidus teammate there in 8th position. Stephen Martin, good qualifying performance for him in the top 10. Starts in 9th, the number 67, alongside number 96, the Roni Kronpush driver in the race green machine. We got number 93 of Kodrich in another MRC machine there on the right side, driver left, alongside Pedro Vitor, the number 80, followed by Mika Sarkkinen, last of the Sarkkinens, second of the Sarkkinens, further down the grid on the right side, starting ahead of Pablo Saitone, number 3 machine, another MRC driver representing the series organizers. Durmaz, the number 23, newcomer to this series today, starts in 14th position, alongside, that is not 14th position, that's 15th position, alongside Magic, 16th, Yasin Badal there in 17th position. And at the very back of the grid, in a very nice looking yellow and red DHL machine, I assume this is inspired by IndyCar, Andre Coso, Italian, at the very back of the grid. Lights coming up in just a moment's time. Michael now parked at the back of the grid, looking all the way down to the order. And we got eyes on Imran Azar on the right side of the screen. Pole position on the left side of the racetrack. 3 lights up, 4, 5 waiting for them to extinguish to begin the second round of the MRC E-Challenge Series. Sprint race is underway. Imran Azar, great start. Cars alongside on the grid. One car not getting away in the very background. That is Andre Coso, still stuck on the grid and looked like he may have... No, he's still parked on the grid. Imran Azar easily away in pole position. Drivers starting to spread out behind. This Carlos Machiotis single file. Bit of a gap to cars behind him. Tire smoke in the background, small collision, but don't see anybody stopped. And it looked like somebody went off at the start. There's one car very, very far behind the rest of the grid. That might be Coso coming through turns 5 and 6 now, but everyone's strung out single file except for these drivers right here. There we go. Andre Coso now joining the back of the grid. Single file coming into the stadium. Tom, take Imran Azar through the arena.
Yeah, got a great start, able to get away and be safe through the start there. Coming around the stadium, arena section, I should say, sorry. Keeping it neat, keeping it tidy, doesn't want to do anything silly, wants to make sure his tyres get up to temperature as he comes onto the eternal right of the final corner. I believe it's turn 16, I think this was. But yeah, long way around, getting it turned in. There we go, on board of Carlos Monchiotis behind him as he gets tucked up into the slipstream, accelerating all the way down, hit the straight here, but then they lift around the 150, 200 meter board, maybe even slightly earlier, and just coast on in to the corner. I believe Gabber's hit the wall further back, but yeah, there he is. Got it all wrong through turn 1 and struggling. But an audacious lunge there by someone. Big send. Roni Kronpush like into the wall. And yeah, I think that's the car of Nico Pantola that did that. Does anyone get a better view on that than I did?
Yeah, Gabber, the left side, the left front of that car all bent askew. So Gabber hard in the wall somewhere as, looked like he went off into turn 1. Nico Pantola with that audacious lunge thought he was going to send a couple cars backwards, but managed to move up into 5th position, though he has now just lost it to Matias Luego in 5th. Imran Azar comfortably leading as we see cars spin. This great shot right here in the middle of the stadium, looking over the attack boost, just happened to catch a few cars colliding, spinning, and then getting back underway again. Carlos Machiotis looking pretty strong. He's just there in the slipstream. He's ever so close to it, so that will benefit him in terms of conserving energy. Imran Azar breaking the air ahead. Cars alongside coming out of the final corner. This is Mika Sarkkinen alongside Stephen Martin, and here we go, Tom. You are a VR driver. Mika with the VR on board for us. Very, very cool driver's eye view shot, and you can just see Stephen Martin in the mirrors. Kind of a small picture-in-picture there. But car!
Big car, Tom,
I think you called it. That car looked like it went all the way over before landing on its wheels.
Yeah, he was actually at Krabaska. I was watching his onboard on my screen with the broadcast on the other screen, and I just watched him do a full somersault. His rear wing is a bit bent now, but he is all okay. Attack boosts now are enabled, so drivers, of course, if they want to, can dive in there and go for that attack boost zone. Doesn't look like anyone's going for it just yet. Obviously, we'll probably want to hold out, let the race go a little bit longer and really settle into their positions and see who they can't get by. I think Cyril Basset might have just gone for it, actually. now saying that in the background, but those leading pairs still keeping going.
So he attempted to drive through it, but he did miss the detection. So still one attack boost remaining. This was a challenge for drivers in the previous round. Saw this a couple times in the sprint where drivers would attempt to go through it and then miss it, have to try it on another lap. Bit of an embarrassing mistake because it does extend the circuit, costs some time to get through there. So we're looking back from Team Sarkinen, looking on board of Team Sarkinen in the picture-in-picture as we look back from his machine for Gerard Fornieles, nearly punted right under the diffuser there. Imran Azar now stretching his legs, has a full second on Carlos Patriotis there in second position as we watch Gabber now recovering seventh position, trying to reclaim a few more positions. That nose badly askew, Tom. He hit the wall really hard. Gabber wants to get through Yassin Badal and catch up to his teammate and try to charge forward. Not the event, not a great start for the championship leader right now as we watch Imran Azar come across the line to start the fifth lap of this race. 1.2 seconds clear of Carlos Machiotis, Timo Sarkinen there in third, Gerard Fornieles in fourth position ahead of Kadric in fifth, Nico Patola sixth, Yassin Badal in seventh, Gabber, Luego, Kronpush round out the top 10.
Yeah, a little bit of corrective information. Yassin Badal actually managed to overtake Gabber in that last lap. He's on an absolute charge, of course, starting from right at the back there and is now climbing his way through. He was trying to make a move on Nico down the start-finish straight, but Nico, I think, just outlasted me, and there's a bit of contact into the back there, but no one spinning around, no harm, no foul, as they said. But there is definitely a bit of a bottleneck going on up ahead here because there's that leading group in front have cleared off from this group at the back.
Cyril Basset did pick up an attack boost on the previous lap. You could see on the timing tower there, Magic and Koso at the very back also through their attack boost. We have cars alongside that is Roni Kronpush being overtaken by Pedro Vitor coming through the stadium section. Both of them down to the apex, neither of them choosing to take a back attack boost on this lap. On their way out of the stadium, very cleanly done by Pedro Vitor. Looked like an aggressive lunge coming into one of the left-handers in the stadium, but through cleanly. In pit lane, Andre Koso, and we've switched away to Imran Azar, so he's still stationary. Wonder if he picked up some damage there. And a pass for third. That is Gerard Fornieles. Ooh, side by side, a little bit of contact, but he does manage to take the position without completely forcing Timo Sarkinen into the wall. And now, behind them, Nico Patola was through, and then a little bit sideways after contact. That is Yassin Badal in front of this train that is 2x2, now getting strung out as they come into the turn of 5 and 6.
Oh!
Double apex. Oh, no. Yeah, Nico hit Gabber, his teammate. Two cars punted off into the grass there. Nico was one of them. Didn't see who the other one was. It may have been Yassin Badal. I didn't see his colors go flying by, so it's all popping off here. Stephen Martin benefited from all of this. He's picked up a couple positions along the way. Now looking at Gabber in sixth, Gabber now down to ninth. I had mistaken Gabber as one of the drivers who had gotten away. Stephen Martin did not gain positions. Gabber has lost a lot of positions in that Shamazel.
Yeah, all went a bit chaotic there. I think it was Lyungo who managed to get through there. Gabber seems to have just had a bit of a disconnect there, so we'll find out what's happened there, whether that was intentional or... Yeah, but it seems to have completely disconnected from the server, so not a happy time from him. Obviously,
no, not
that
at
all went a bit horribly wrong, I think, when Nico tried to get past Kadric, didn't do it entirely cleanly, and then it just all spiraled from there as Roni right into the back there, trying to get through on Nico himself. It's all just... Mika, sorry.
Oh, car sideways again in the background where you got the cameras on Matthias Luengo, who was so quick in the sprint the last event 2 weeks ago. And all of these drivers tried to get their heads back in the game, so to speak, and put down some good laps. Car on the inside of the circuit, slow and letting all these other cars by. I have to believe he's just assumed that he was responsible for that incident and has let all of these drivers through. Interesting. No, that's Cyril Basset. That's not Cyril Basset who was spun. Didn't see who that was. Oh, there was Cyril Basset who had spun. Yeah, so Cyril Basset didn't look like he had any help there. Looked like he was just on the power a little bit early and then looped it on his own. And he rejoins so quick in qualifying and now all the way back down to 12th position. So another challenging day for Cyril Basset. Pablo Setone coming through Stephen Martin now. Nice and easily done. Though he just over the notch curve on the right. So dangerous there. And we've got more contact with Nico Pantola. Looks like this might be fin on fin violence. Mika Sarkkinen just into a Nico trying to defend this position onto the inside of the racetrack before he takes the first of these apexes. Car 22 drive-through penalty for causing a collision, turn 1, lap 3. That is Gerard Fornieles all the way up to third position. That will boat him awfully close to the back. Magic is 53 seconds down. Dumas 32 in 5th position. 15th position, so this will put Fornieles well down the order. Tom, it is all popping off. This is what you missed a couple weeks ago. It is nonstop action in E-Challenge once again.
Yeah, the crazy E-Challenge that we got used to is here, and it's back up with a lot of drama going on. Fornieles, of course, he was part of this breakaway 4, so even though he has just done a drive-through penalty, he has held 4th place. Oh, huge crash further back, Nico Patola and Mika Sarkkinen. Huge. Didn't really see what went on, if I'm honest, but all over the place. Terrible rejoin as well. Heavy collision with the drivers there. That's Nico with a dodgy rejoin. And it's all just going off, and it just seems to be a little bit bumper car-y in this mid-pack going on. Hopefully they'll keep the racing cleaner and a bit less broken cars going into the feature race, Travis.
Yeah, I think some of these drivers who are not unfamiliar with having a tense conversation with one of the JPs, they may get another crack at that chat after the sprint race. It's all popping off, you might say, here in E-Challenge. Just past halfway through the race, watching Gerard Fornieles, who he's credited with 4th position here on the screen. Drive-through penalty actually didn't hurt him that badly with all of the action behind him. All of this has promoted Yacine Bidal up to 5th position. He was nowhere, but the violence ahead of him has put him in a pretty comfortable 5th. He's got 6 seconds on Pedro Vitor, and more contact in the back. The two of them spinning off collected another car. I couldn't tell which one it was, but there was an innocent driver coming through the final quarter. The two of them spinning. He had nowhere to go. Yeah, this is all getting a bit messy, and I expect the JPs. I'm not going to go find out for myself, Tom, but I expect the JPs are having a lively conversation among themselves in race control, and that's going to spread. Pablo Satone, I think, was the driver who was caught in that last corner accident. Carlos Maciotis has closed this gap slightly. Timo Sarkkinen behind him has just gone through the attack boost section. And I'm going to call on Adol for a second, give Tom and I a bit of a breather as the action here shows no signs of abating. Adol, take Careless through these corners in his chase of Imran Azar.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I want to first start off with that Mexico circuit is a tight track. So it is even hard to stay the car in the track in qualifying or hot laps. When it comes to racing with 2 side-by-side, 3 side-by-side, it is really hard. So it is really normal that we see this many crashes. We have Imran Azar trying to open the gap with the 2nd place, number 34, but it is really hard here. He took the attack boost right now. Let's see if he'll help him in this next couple of laps.
Yeah, so Adol's caught the attack boost of the leaders going through here in the first corner. Stephen Martin 3 wide into the first corner. 1 car ended up in the grass. So Stephen Martin, a spirited defense of, I believe this is Cyril Basset behind him, was made up a little bit of time and a couple positions. Elder Kardrich not far behind them, just 1 second clear. I think it was one of the drivers who ended up going into the wall. Driver further back into the grass. So these 3, 4 now spread out. It's crazy to think that this was 3 wide into the first corner with someone just lurking and waiting for them all to take each other off, and that's a car spinning in the background. I believe that was Dumas in a purple car who was spun off. That'll let Mika Sarkkinen through. As Nico Patola, I believe, came out the worst from this constant battling with Mika Sarkkinen now further back down the road. Okay, looking to the lead once again, Adol. Imran Azar just ahead of Carlos Maciotis. Carlos Maciotis lost a few tenths in the previous lap. Still on his attack boost. Imran Azar having not taken his yet. Cyril Basset now lurking behind Stephen Martin. We'll keep an eye on this as we watch Imran Azar at the front.
Yeah, I just noted, looking at it, the attack boost really helpful down the straights. Gives a whole load of powers. Imran Azar here coming up to get some lap traffic, which has got out of the way very quickly for him. But there's definitely the speed advantage that Carlos Maciotis has in the acceleration zones using this attack boost is really working for him. But Imran Azar just a bit braver through the corners, which is definitely helping him maintain this gap. Of course, coming up to the lap traffic now, They really were hoping that they're going to be active in their mirrors and not going to be causing them too much trouble going on. See Cyril Brasset here absolutely harassing and right under the wing there of the 67 car, which I believe is Martin, really trying to look a way through, putting it in the inside, trying to make him second guess himself about turning in, but not having any of that really right there. And unfortunately, I think he's just backed out in the corner there. Oh, big run around the outside. Is he going to have it? He's got the room. He is alongside, side by side. He's definitely got the overspeed there. As you see, he's dropping ahead. They both let off, turning in for turn one. Have they made it? Oh, he's run a little wide, hit the bump, but still held onto the car. He's got the inside, but he's relinquished it and let him go, Travis.
Side by side through turn one is bold, keeping an eye on the leaders. Tom talking about the leaders while we get the pictures of these two right here. This battle showing no signs of abating. Imran Azar about 1 second clear of Carlos Macioides coming into the first corner. 5 laps remaining in this event for these two. Looking back, another battle for 6th, 7th position. This is Matias Luengo trying to track down Pedro Vitor. Wow, ton of time gained coming out of the stadium section. Pedro Vitor doing and just having a mare of a time getting the power down on the way out of the stadium. Little bit of extra power for Matias Luengo, doing a great job managing it. And now side by side coming into the stadium section, it's Pablo Saitone on the inside, trying to retake the position. And now he's doing the over-under, the cutback in the left-handers. I think that was a little bit optimistic. And now he's chopped the car of Mika. Is that Mika Sarkkinen behind him? It is. That is chopped Mika Sarkkinen twice coming through the stadium. Mika Sarkkinen, just not his day. Hard to say who was at fault for his collisions with Nico Patola. I think the amount of times that they actually came together, it was probably a takes two to tango sort of situation as he dives to the right side of the racetrack. Leaders coming through. Carlos Macioides close once again to Imran Azar. Not quite in striking distance, but coming through the first corner. 20 seconds of attack boost remaining. It is now or never for Carlos Macioides and Imran Azar with that attack boost remaining. Unless Carlos can get this done and make a gap, I think Imran Azar is right where he wants to be, Tom.
Yeah, he's doing a brilliant job at holding him off. He has, it's a bit of a collision going on somewhere there. Struggling to see what it was, but either way, that is the end of the attack boost for Carlos Macioides, and so he is now out. But he has managed to get himself all the way back up onto the tail of Imran Azar during that period, so they're sort of holding steady now. He's looking for an opportunity. I think Imran Azar going there for the attack boost. It's a bit of a mistake, I think, on that last corner by going so wide. I personally think he should have kept it tighter and then just dove out towards the end there, but he's a lot quicker driver than I am, so while I can commentate on it, I definitely can't drive like he can.
Yeah, challenge there is if you don't get all the way to the outside, you risk just missing the beginning of the detection zone. So now he's got the big overspeed behind Careless. Chooses, this is a very Imran Azar move. I think he could have made this end there. He had so much more speed coming into the first corner. But chooses to conserve the energy. He doesn't have to rush this. He has so much more power all the way to the end of the race, though he gives Careless a bit of a boost coming out of the corner on the way down to turns 5 and 6 right now. Careless taking a conservative line. I don't know that he necessarily needed to do that, but he does get good power down coming out of turn 6 on his way through 6 and 7. Now on his way into the stadium, Imran Azar, I think, just playing with his food, as Pete said many years ago. That in my lexicon now. Imran Azar in no rush to get this move done. He has 3 laps to retake first position. He can just hang out in Careless's mirrors, wait for Careless to make a mistake. Maybe Careless will make it easier for him. But the extra power all the way to the end should make this an easy job for Imran Azar to take the top step.
Yeah, it's definitely going on there. I think he just needs to use the fact of when they release just to go past. As we see, there is the charge percentages. Because there we go. Imran Azar sent it inside as Elder Cadre has gone spinning off into turn 1. And Imran Azar got through nicely and has retaken the lead there with the potential for another just under 2.5 minutes of his attack boost. Fuel percentages, 16% is the low, or energy, I should say, sorry. 15% Carlos Macioides has the lowest in the grid there. So everyone's looking absolutely fine, to be honest. Just 2 laps to go at the end of this lap, and lots of fuel precision. Actually, Nico Pantola, I think, might be in receiving end of a penalty coming in, but someone's crashed.
Yep, this will be a safety car. Mika Sarkkinen, Tom.
Yeah, that's one way that I think we'll probably end up ending it. Oh no, we do the extensions, don't we? But that is one view from the VR there on the side, right at the floor.
We'll see
They
if
need to
Mika's
react to it
listening.
at some point.
We took it away. I was going to ask.
Safety car
Mika
standby.
to give us
Safety
a
car
head shake.
deployed. Safety car deployed. Car
And
upside
there
down on
we've
its
got the
side
call, Tom.
at T3.
Sorry about that. I was just saying we've got the call from race control. I was talking over race control. My apologies for that. So that is Mika Sarkkinen sideways on his head. Apologies for that. Peter shouting at me, "Shut up! Let us hear race control." So I'll keep my head on straight for the next one. Apologies, everyone watching, if you wanted to hear that. JP once again just saying that there's a car on its side, which you can clearly see there in turn 3, in front of these beautiful trees. Adal, all of this scenery here does make it a bit more atmospheric.
Yeah, it totally does. Yeah, it's more scenic. So
A bit prettier than the blue and gray concrete patterns, though they do the layout and the layout objects in their own right make it a beautifully scenic track, a beautiful representation, a recreation of the Mexico City E-Prix circuit, faithful down to just fractions of a meter. And here we pick up Imran Azar coming through the final corner. Carlos Macioides. This is the kind of thing that I would never do, Tom, because one, like Imran Azar has a controller disconnect, which can happen. Carlos punts him off, and then they've both lost first and second position. I would give a little more room here. I've seen how badly it can go wrong in many races in the past. But I guess he knows his business better than we do. As you said a few moments ago, they are the drivers, we are the talkers, Tom. There, Imran Azar going by the scene of the crime. I don't know if that was a homicide or a suicide. We'll have someone look back and see what happened there. I believe, did the leaders just go past the safety car, Tom? There we go. Now, he's just picking them up now. Okay.
He's had a little bit of a drive round on his own. I think he might have left the pits a little early, thinking they were on their way down the start-finish straight when they were still actually sort of in the arena section. So, but yeah, he's picking up the grid now. Travis, correct me and inform. What is the procedure with the safety car when it comes to the sprint race? Are we getting extra laps or are we finishing here?
No, we will finish here. There could have been some complications for drivers who hadn't been through the attack boost. Of course, they could dive in and get it under safety car. That would be a bit of a pickle if drivers had left it late and we had a safety car late in the race and they couldn't get through 2 times of asking. Not the problem here. Final lap coming through the last corner just now. So this will finish under safety car. No extra laps like we had in the past.
This race will end under safety car.
And
checkered flag. Checkered flag.
There you go. There's the call from JP. Checkered flag. Tim Donater wins the race ahead of Imran Azar. Imran, there we go. Had it well in hand. A gift of a safety car makes it an easy and relaxing finish. Carlos Macioides just behind him. Timo Sarkkinen, the better and I would say the more relaxed of the Sarkkinens today, rounds out podium for the sprint race.
Is that more relaxed because one of them's on his side and the other one's still driving, or which way are we going with that one, Travis?
Well, I think there was somewhat less excitement for Timo Sarkkinen there in third position than Mika had with his countrymen further down the order. So there we go. Looking down on Imran Azar, first position. You both called it. We'll see how he can do for the final. He'll start in 10th position for the final, but I have every reason to believe he will make his way up the order and be challenging for the win in the final. Imran Azar, once again, first position in the sprint, ahead of Carlos Macioides. Third position goes to Timo Sarkkinen, Gerard Fornielis in 4th, Yacine Badal 5th, Matthias Luengo in 6th, Pedro Vitor 7th, Ronnie Krampusch in 8th, Cyril Bousset finishes 9th ahead of Stephen Martin, rounding out the top 10. Stephen Martin, once again, will be on the point for a final. Pablo Setone finishes 11th, Elder Cartridge in 12th, Nico Batola 13th, 1 lap down. Elder Cartridge, Pablo Setone also 1 lap off the leader. We're passed by Imran Azar in the closing stages of that race. Yacine Dermaz, 2 laps. Sorry, not Yacine Dermaz. That is Yunus Dermaz. Confused him with Yacine Badal. My apologies to him. Magic finishes in 15th ahead of Mika Sarkkinen, who ended his race 78% distance on his side in turn 3. Andre Koso in 17th, and Gabber, who had enough after 5 laps of this event, finishes 14 laps down. He is disconnected. I don't anticipate we will see him in the final. I have not seen a message to the effect of his frustration with the car or that he intends to return. So that might be, I've no reason to believe that is anything but day done for Gabber. Championship leader could retain the championship lead pending the outcome of the upcoming race. Actually, no, he most certainly will not. Imran Azar scored plenty of points 1 round to go 2 weeks ago. So Imran Azar will, unless he has similar challenges, he should leave with the championship lead.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, some quite rough racing there for some of the people. I think just saw Gabber put a message in the chat saying he got killed 4 times in 3 laps, so he was a little bit unhappy with that one, I think we can all say. But yeah, really, really great drive there by Imran, and I think I have to say, Fornialis did an amazing job to get a drive-through penalty and still finish in 4th place. Just shows the pace he was able to extract over sort of the rest of the field. There was definitely a grouping of the front 4 and everyone else going on today, I think, Travis.
Yeah, I would say so. I have received a message from Gabber. He does intend to return, so I think we'll probably see him in the practice session that is coming up in a moment, waiting to kick all of that off. And we have Carlos Machiotis in for an interview. Let's have a chat with him. Carlos, that went well. Looked like you were challenging. You were right up there with Imran Azar at the front, briefly in the lead, but couldn't quite get ahead of him and extend a gap to where you could hold it. But still, strong performance.
Yeah, it was fun. I am quite frustrated at myself because seeing that we had safety car on the last 2 laps, it is possible I could have gotten P1 for entering the super long last corner. I was thinking, all right, I need to defend from Imran for T1. And by the time I got there, I got too focused on my charge, looking whether I can still push or should I start conserving. I didn't move over to the right and oh, hello, he's there already. So yeah, I had no chance there when I didn't defend, but yeah, at that same lap we got safety car, and yeah, I think I had chances to defend him for one more straight, all the back straight, but didn't happen.
Yeah, so it goes. And well, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't typically bank on a safety car. However, judging by the action you saw in your mirrors during the sprint race, do you plan on a safety car? Does a safety car figure into your strategy deliberately going into the final, or do you just kind of keep that in the back of your mind and adapt as needed?
Yeah, more like adapt as needed. But safety car is not something you can foresee, so I just go without it in my mind.
Yeah, perhaps you didn't see all of the things that were happening because they were too far behind you. Watch the replay. It was spicy behind you. About to kick off the practice session, so congratulations on the 2nd place in the sprint. Good luck getting your feel for the final race, the feature in the practice, and then good luck in the feature.
Thanks.
Carlos Machiotis, 2nd position there in the sprint, waiting to go over to the open practice in the background. Should have that coming up in just a moment. Lots of chatter about driving standards in that race, so I think it's not just us, and it's a few of the drivers too, ones who may have been involved and ones who were just witnesses to the carnage. Hopefully we get things cleaned up for the feature. There we go. Tom, tell us about the car for the final, please.
So, of course, we have the E-Challenger Evo, but the rear-wheel drive variant. So, it's exactly the same power, exactly the same weight, but it all going through the rear. We did see a lot of people struggle with getting round some of the corners with the when they had the attack boost. They struggled a bit going on there. I saw a lot spinning going on, and now, of course, now you've got all that power straight to the rear wheels instead of it spread across the 4. It's going to be interesting to see how they're able to handle that, because I think it would be somewhat closer to say it was more of a boxing match in some cases earlier than an actual race. Travis.
Yes, indeed. Could not agree more. Gabber will return. Message Tim. So remind everybody he's coming back for the feature race. So we watch Matthias Luengo out the way of a car going by him. Can't tell who that is. It's not Cyril Bisset. It might be Cyril Bisset. I think it's Cyril Bisset. So 16 and a half minutes remaining in the practice session. So everyone getting acclimated to the feature race configuration of these cars. As Tom said a moment ago, rear-wheel drive, same power, more attack boost in the final. So the handling characteristics ever so slightly different between qualifying and sprint, and then this practice session and the feature race. Some complaints from driving standards by drivers. I mentioned that a moment ago. So there's some back and forth among all of them in the race chat. I think our race directors, our stewards, have their hands full with all of the events of the sprint race. I'm hopeful that we will clean up our act, as the saying goes, in the feature. Cars side by side coming into the first corner. That's Magic forced wide as Gerard Fornieles goes through in the first corner. So a bit of racing in the practice session. It's important to practice racing and racecraft, so might as well get this out of the way in a practice. Expect Magic might be a little bit frustrated with that, but better here than there, as we say. One driver has left the session. That is Yunus Durmaz. Turkish driver has chosen not to take part in the feature race, and just like that, Gabber at the top of the order. Oh, well, he was at the top of the order. Carlos Matiotis now just ahead of him. Gabber popped up to the top. Carlos came across the line right behind him. So Gabber getting to grips with the car here in free practice. At times somewhat slower than we were seeing in the sprint on account of the handling difficulties. Don't have that power at the front of the car pulling it along, helping it get off the corner really well. 4 drivers setting times, pretty close and competitive. About 15 minutes remaining in practice.
Yes, the time there, a little bit incorrect. It's pulling through a bit funky for some reason, but it's only about 7 minutes left to go of the practice. So these just getting out there, getting their laps in, just acclimatise themselves with the variation in the car, of course. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's any more chaos going on. Adol, do you have much experience between the differences in these two car variants?
To be honest, I haven't really done the real-wheel version, but all-wheel drive version. But I have much experience in the real-wheel drive, so I can talk about the difficulties getting into this track with real-wheel driving. So the times we see on the all-wheel drive is going to be a lot more different right now, because in these tight tracks, in order to turn the car, you have to input, as you see from the Magic, you have to use your braking and the acceleration a lot more than usual. So you're going to see much of differences in driving styles in this race, and I think it's going to be really interesting.
My apologies for the timing call a moment ago. As Tom clarified, 6 minutes remaining. I think we've added, just got some extra time on our clock. So just ticked under 6 minutes remaining there. Thank you, Adol, for telling us a little bit about the car, how it handles differently in this trim. Magic just missing the sausage curbs there on the left side of the racetrack onto the exit of the first corner. Looking nice and clean through here so far. A bit of a pedestrian line through the fourth corner, now through 5 and 6. Looking forward to Gerard Fornieles. Third quick in this practice session. Carlos Matiotis still at the tip top, 3/10 clear of Gabber, who has improved. Carlos still sitting on minute 5.4. Gabber finding time, watching Fornieles come through the stadium section now. Very tight to the curbing. Carlos Matiotis quickest over the curb. He was wide of the curb there inside the attack boost section, but looking nice and clean through here. Onboard shot. Carlos Matiotis all the way out to the wall, keeping the car a bit wide of the wall here, and now gently turning the car in, just misses the big sausage curb on the inside and then on the outside. Beautifully onto the blue and white striped curbing. Across the line, doesn't improve, but looking very clean. Nice line through the first corner. He's going to bring the car all the way over to the right side. White line just past before the 50 board on the brakes, getting the car rotated in very nicely, using the entire racetrack. Just missed the barriers there on the inside. Kind of a tighter line into the 5-6 double apex, but he gets the car rotated really well for the second of the right-handers. Just missed the curb on the left, use all the track on the right, avoid scrubbing off speed with the friction of the steering input. between the 50 and the 100. He'll brake, having coasted for about 300 meters. Somebody's spinning in the background. Nice and clean in the right-hander, all the way out to the wall on the left. And now, left-hand corners for days. Just missed the left curbing in the second apex to get the car rotated for the third. Over the right-hander once, twice, and now 3 times. And now on the power, building it up, just breathing the throttle in through this very long right-hander, turn 16. Get the car turned in. You want to rotate it ever so slightly, but you don't want it to spin coming over the exit. Misses the curbing on the right ever so slightly, but clean over the exit. And he hasn't gone any quicker, but Timo Sarkkinen has, right up to the top of the order, minute 5.388, as we were following Carlos Magiotis on that lap. So, Timo Sarkkinen, top of the order in the 69 machine, minute 5.3. Carlos Magiotis, a little bit less than 1/10 clear. Gabber has improved as well, 1/10 behind them. Gerard Fornielis in the minute 5s. Matthias Lengo. And as I said that, Gabber to the tip top by about 600ths over Timo Sarkkinen. So very competitive at the front. That lasted 1 lap before Gabber pitched the car on the wall. Roni Krampusch all out of sorts coming out of the stadium. Looking pretty good at the front. Very competitive times among the drivers. They're in the top 10. Stephen Martin all the way down on a minute 11. Not much pace in that car, and he'll be starting on pole position. Should keep it very exciting as we pop off the grid for the feature race. Tom, that was me taking us around a lap with Carolus and running down the order. What have I missed in the background while I was making chit chat about?
I'll be honest with you, Travis. I went to get a drink, so what you've missed is
I missed that call.
I can give you a rundown on my fiance making some great food. It smells delicious in the other room.
Yeah, when we run out of other things to talk about, we'll come back to that. Adal, what else is happening? What do you see for drivers preparing for the feature race here?
So I think about with a major pace difference from the all-wheel drive, because he has been driving this circuit and with this car for a lot of time at this point. And it is really interesting to see how much difference does it make on driving quality when you change the differences on the all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. He's more up to the pace at this point, and he might even get a podium or get a first place. I think so.
Ooh, a bold prediction before the bold predictions. While we've
been
talking
last time, so.
Yeah, you were. While we've been talking, we're about a minute and a half remaining in the practice session. Imran Azar, I was about to say just seconds ago that he has shown his characteristic patience and conservation. In the practice session, he was hanging around 6th or 7th position, and now it jumps up to the top. So not super surprising there. He's gone 2/10 quicker than Carlos Magiotis. So energy savings with pace. The story of Imran Azar's driving career in E-Challenge. Gerard Fornielis, not that far off. Very competitive at the front as he comes into the stadium section. Tom, about a minute remaining. Why don't you tell us about dinner?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what it is. I think it's some sort of pie mixture. It smells really good. It's got some mince in there.
Okay, I know your wife. I know your wife, and she is a lovely person. So don't get this wrong where it's recorded. You should find out more and tell us about it, or you should stop now and punt it back to the on-track action.
I think we should put it back onto the on-track action of, it's definitely going to be an interesting feature race. 30 seconds left of this open practice we got. And then, of course, they're going to be gridding up ready for the main event. Of course, just to remind everyone, the top 10 are, of course, getting that reverse grid in there. So the ones who you saw on the podium will be starting 10th, 9th, and 8th as well.
Yes, indeed, a top 10 reverse. That means that Gabber will not be there in the top 10 at all. He will be pretty far back. He disconnected 4 or 5 laps into the sprint race. So it will be, if he was concerned about driving standards in the sprint, I think I have some bad news for him. He has to drive through all of that to get as close as he can to the front in the feature race. But if anyone can do it, we certainly know that Gabber is one of them. Time has run out. Drivers will cross the line to finish their final practice laps. Imran Azar at the top has dipped into the minute 4s. Minute 4.9. He is almost 4/10 ahead of Gabber in second position. Watching as more cars cross the line here. That was spicy out of the final corner. Great shot looking down the straightaway as we look down at Roni Krampusch coming through the final corner now. Nico Patola coming out of the stadium. I believe that is Cyril Basset. That's a red and white machine ahead of him. The two of them coming through the final corner now. Nico Patola, perhaps I missed it, but I'm surprised. Oh, Nico Patola dips into pit lane. Oh, and then out of pit lane. Not sure what that was. Perhaps having a bit of fun. Nico Patola crosses the line 6 quick in this practice session in preparation for the feature. Elder Cartridge coming through. Oh, Elder Cartridge has parked the car in pit lane. So still waiting for the last few drivers to finish their practice laps. I believe we have everyone now. There's one car coming into the pits, so I think we've got everyone. Imran Azar, top of the heap for practice. Minute 4.902 seconds. Gabber second quick. Third, Carlos Magioitis. Timo Sarkinen in fourth. Gerard Fornielis in fifth. And there you can see the rest of the order all the way down to 14th. So 14 drivers setting laps in this practice. We had 17 take the start for the sprint race. So we will we'll wait just a minute, see who shows up to grid for the feature, and then we will get it underway. More excitement in store for E-Challenge, the 2026 season, brought to you by Sim Broadcast. Second round of the Mexico City E-Prix circuit in 2 weeks' time. We'll be at South City once again. South City Northern Circuit, a new layout, a new path, a new route through the streets of South City. Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit will be the 4th round venue on March 8th, followed by the Norris Ring. The Norris Ring was a big hit on earlier broadcasts that coming to you on March 22nd. We're waiting to finish the practice session in the background, go back to lobby and grid everybody up. There you see on the screen once more the Mexico City E-Prix circuit layout. Practice session has ended. Waiting for the driver's briefing in the background. We will leave you for just a few moments so we can get a breather, a bio break, a drink of water, and recuperate before we present to you 27 laps of frantic action for the feature race here in round 2 of 2026 MRC E-Challenge season. Thank you. We'll be back in just a few moments. Drivers' briefing is complete. Drivers are joining the grid now. We will present them in just a moment and kick off the final race of the feature race for the 2026 season MRC E-Challenge Round 2 at the Mexico City E-Prix circuit. Waiting for Michael Malik to ready up in the background. Got some cars reversing on the grid in the far back. So getting the grid completely in order. We will read off the pole sitter, Stephen Martin, and all the drivers behind him, and then we will get the feature race underway. Stephen Martin, no stranger to reverse grid pole position. And there we go, got him on the right side, the number 67. Stephen Martin, pole position for feature once again, shaking his head at us. Cyril Basset starts alongside in second position. The number 21 machine ahead of third position. Roni Kronpush, just behind him on his right will be Matthias Luengo. Fifth on the grid, Gerard Farnieles alongside Teemu Sarkkinen, first of the Sarkkinens, and the Sarkkinen who experienced the least violence in the sprint race. Behind him, starting in ninth position, Carlos Machiotis, alongside winner from the sprint race, Imran Azar, the number 15 Sidus driver. Pablo Saitone starts the race in 11th position. Alongside him, Elder Kodrich in the number 93. Nico Pentola next on the grid behind him, alongside Magic in another green machine. And then if we look back to the very last row of the grid, Mika Sarkkinen just behind his nemesis from the sprint race, starting alongside Gabber at the very back of the grid. A lot of work to do for him to retain his championship lead, if it's at all possible today. Championship leader coming into this event. Almost certainly won't be when we leave. But stranger things have happened. Looking down at the front of the grid now, Stephen Martin will lead these drivers away just as soon as the lights are extinguished. Lights coming up now. Waiting for the first of the red lights. There it is. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Waiting for them to go out to get the feature race underway. Now, Stephen Martin ahead of Cyril Basset. A little bit of tire smoke coming off the grid. Some wheel spin. Looks like Cyril Basset might have the lead into the first quarter. He does easily past Stephen Martin into the first corner. Cars 2x2. Somebody spinning in the background. That may have been one of the Sarkkinen. Stephen Martin into the wall. Couldn't tell if he got help there, if he did that all on his own. Cars getting strung out behind. Roni Kronpush there in third with, I think that's Matthias Luengo behind him. Cyril Basset now in the lead, and that will be behind him. I believe that's Teemu Sarkkinen. No, Teemu Sarkkinen has fallen down the order. So trying to figure out who this is behind Cyril Basset. That's Luengo behind. That's an MRC paint job. My apologies there. So Matthias Luengo chasing down Cyril Basset coming into the stadium section. Cars single file into the right-hander, and now beginning to negotiate the inner workings of this stadium arena section, side by side with Roni Kronpush coming down to the apex here. Little bit of argy-bargy, but everybody through cleanly. Now Roni Kronpush being challenged by another MRC machine on his left side, outside of this corner, side by side, coming out of the stadium into this sweeping right-hand turn 16. Roni Kronpush not giving up. That's going to be contact. Oh, somehow both of them managed to get through without completely spinning. And that is Imran Azar now through up into fifth position. Exciting start. Not too much for us today, Tom Jones. Take us through the second lap.
Yeah, quite a busy start. I'll be honest, Liaison has now taken the lead, but they're all still stacking up there. Move up the inside, going for Carlos Montoya, just makes contact and ends up dropping down behind. Nothing major, but still hanging on there and actually having a little bit of argy-bargy going on there with, I think it's Teemu Sarkkinen there, but still holding position, got the inside line to go defensive. Imran Azar looking right behind, waiting for an opportunity. He doesn't want to let Carlos Montoya just get away, because of course that is the man who chased him and had to fight for the win in the first race for. But that lead pack there, those front six, all very close together, and there's a slight second pack emerging just behind them as well. Very, very close. I would say I thought Yasser Bador would be here. I did think he would be a hot contender for a chance to win this one, but he's not on the grid, which surprises me a little bit, Travis.
Yeah, he's completely disconnected. I mean, he finished well in the sprint race. There we go. There's the call for attack boost enabled. Drivers now eligible to drive through and use their 2 attack boosts during this race. Very close racing here at the front. That is Imran Azar. In the background was moving away from the wall, and it's popping off here behind Roni Kronpush. Best friends, these two here. Gabber behind Nico Patola, and Roni Kronpush. Looked like Gabber might put a nose in there under his teammate, but Nico comes out of the corner, 9th position behind Roni Kronpush. Gabber there all the way up to 10th. I noted that Imran Azar made it a brilliant start up to 5th, but Carlos Machiotis even better, now up into 2nd position. He's gotten through Cyril Basset there at the front. So lots of action. Ooh, wheel spin by Gabber, just keeps the car under control. He wants to get through Roni as quickly as he can and set off in pursuit of the leaders. Nobody opting for attack boost just yet. As we look at this brilliant overhead shot coming through the stadium, Gabber negotiating turn 15 and now coming up to 16. Chasing down Roni. He wants to get through Roni behind his teammate Nico and then go run down Mika Sarkinen and Gerard Fornieles. At the front, Carlos Machiotis, fastest lap of the race, half a second behind Matthias Luengo. And, ooh, a little bit of excitement there. Car's getting a bit squirrely ahead of Mika Sarkinen coming through the first corner, now negotiating turn 2 and on their way to this double apex right-hander at turns 5 and 6.
Yeah, Imran Azar did a great move to get into 4th position, and I think just the remains of that manoeuvre is what caused a little bit of the excitement in front of Mika Sarkinen there. Luengo is doing well to keep Carlos Montoya behind, a man who is proven very, very quick here. So he's doing a great job holding that up, and I think it's... he's Carlos Montoya going for the attack boost as the first one, being vulnerable now to Timo Sarkinen as he's trying to hold it around the outside. Montoya just having to hold it in. He's got the position still, and so he should be able to use that extra power to accelerate away. I think he wants to gain that gap up ahead, but absolutely right in there. I think Gabber has gone for it as well, which means there are 4 cars there with the attack boost going forward, and Team Sarkin trying to look for a move round the outside on Carlos Montoya, which is looking very exciting on the way back. And Forlianos is looking to make a move on Imran Azar, but decides better of it in the end. Just not quite enough of an overlap there, Travis.
I think that's a brilliant decision by Carlos Machiotis to take it when he did, and Gabber. So Carlos, a little bit of a bump in the background there. So that's Gabber following Roni Kronpush. I think that was Mika Sarkinen who got into Cyril Basset. Could have been Fornieles ahead of him. But Carlos jumping through to grab the attack boost. They're racing behind him so he can build a bit of a gap. And Imran Azar is kind of caught up behind Timo Sarkinen. So Carlos can use the extra power to run down Matthias Luengo. And Matthias Luengo, a couple of weeks ago, was very quick. He ran out of energy late in the race, which led to a disappointing finish. But Carlos just as quick as Matthias Luengo. If he can get through and conserve, hold the lead, I think he's in great position in the early stages of this race. Gabber now lurking here behind Roni. Gabber going way outside, going to hook the car down with a late entry, and power out just touches the sausage curb there on the left, and easily by Roni Kronpush. Ooh, Roni Kronpush late on the brakes. Looked like he might make it difficult for Gabber around the outside, but Gabber through, and now turns into turn 3. The rear of the car just starting to get away from him there, manages to keep it under control. So we'll remind everybody in this event, in the feature race, as Gabber just misses the rear end of Mika Sarkinen ahead of him. I think Mika Sarkinen, I'm sure, has PTSD from cars colored to the same as Gabber's from the sprint race. In the feature race, 2 attack boosts by every driver as Gabber, a very late send, stays on the power and the late braking. Mika Sarkinen almost certainly coasting into the corner. Gabber takes advantage and claims another position. Regenerative braking, they'll recuperate a little bit of energy in the feature race. 2 attack boosts, but only rear-wheel drive. And we know how good Gabber is in rear-wheel drive over-powered cars. Looking at the front once again, I believe this is Carlos Machiotis looking at Matthias Luengo. Extra boost for another minute and a half, easily through before he even turns into the corner. Just clips the edge of the circuit and that curb on the outside. But Carlos now into the lead, needs to extend this gap. So if Matthias Luengo chooses to go through the attack boost, he can hold on to that position. Nico racing in the background. Imran Azar also lurking. It's heating up. Close racing here, Tom.
Yeah, it's quite close all over the place. These little battles happening all the way around the place. Even in the one for last place is 2 cars nose to tail going on there. Once again, we're sort of splitting out into a lead pack and a chasing pack. So definitely a bit going on there. As you said, Chaos Montoitis into the lead, still with his attack boost going. And Imran Razak is close right up onto Luengo with that. Oh, Nico Pantola, a little nudge onto the back of, I'm not sure exactly here, Timu Sarkinen. As they're all there, this pack of 4 here, very quick, and always had a little bit of a scrap going forward in the last race. Imran Razak has just gone past Luengo to take second position down the start, finish straight as well. And Gabba there, trying to hold possibilities around. Gabba's run wide into the wall. That's not ideal. He's not going to be happy with that one. Whether that was self-inflicted or he just, here he just definitely outbraked himself there. So, yeah, self-inflicted and a man who's not going to be happy with that. As Nico Patel sends it out the inside, a huge slide. Keep those rear tyres going to be screaming. And great opportunity, great idea. Just didn't work out that time, Travis.
Yeah, I think he probably gave Cyril Basset a bit of a heart attack there. Looked like he was going to come fully around into the side pod of Cyril Basset's machine, but manages to keep it under control. Looked like that may have been a bit of handbrake driving. Finnish driver rallying in electric streetcars. Somebody clips one of the tires there on the inside of that curbing. You can see Gabber lurking in the background trying to regain the ground that he lost by driving off the track and into the barriers on the exit of turn 1. Timu Sarkinen threw the attack boost on the previous lap, 2.5 minutes remaining there, in pursuit of Gerard Fornieles in 4th position. At the front, Carlos Magioides is leading from Imran Azar, who has gotten through Matias Luengo. Imran Azar and Matias Luengo both have 2 attack boosts remaining as Nico Patola takes a big bite of the curbing on the exit of turn 1. Carlos Magioides still in control at the front of the race, needs to control it until he takes, at this point I would expect a late race boost. Cyril Basset so late on the brakes here behind Nico Patola, who has now gotten through. I was saying Carlos Magioides needs to keep the race under control. He needs to manage this, and so far he is doing it well, Tom. Only half a percentage point less energy than Imran Azar. Now 1 that it's ticked down. So a little bit extra energy consumption on account of that attack boost, but looking pretty strong as it runs. I don't see any concerns for energy for any of these drivers, the 12 who remain on circuit.
No, exactly. Doing a brilliant job. We're going to get a proper update when we run over the start-finish line very shortly, but a third of the way through the race now, and they are all under. There you go. Carlos Montoya is using exactly a third of the power available in his car, so he is placing it. A huge moment, huge slide for him as well through turn 1, but still holding it. But yeah, still going. Luengo is doing a bit below as well. So's Nico. Cyril's below these few drivers here who are definitely going to have to be a bit more careful and use a bit more regen and coast longer into the second 2/3 of this race.
Yeah, notably Carolus at the front. He's right at the cusp of 2/3 energy with 2/3 race remaining, but he'd already been through an attack boost, so we would expect him to consume a little bit more. He'll get the average back, so to speak, on these coming laps. But these 2 further down, who are already over budget rather, having not taken any attack boosts, they could be in trouble. They need to do some conservation as Cyril Basset goes through the attack boost. That allows Gabber through that will change to 7th position when they update at the timing line. Gabber having already taken 1 of his attack boosts, and ahead of them, that is Timu Sarkinen about to run out of his. He will have consumed all of his first attack boost on this lap. Mika Sarkinen just gone through as well, a couple seconds behind Cyril Basset. So far, this race much cleaner than the previous one. A little bit of bumping and running here and there, but for the most part, much cleaner, much more respectful than the sprint.
Yeah, it definitely tends to happen because it's a bit less of a mad grab for the positions here, so gives them a bit chance to settle in and just be calm about their decision making, and not do anything too hasty. Imran Mazar just keeps sort of yo-yoing, I think rubber banding almost from the back of Carlos Montoya and dropping back a bit again. He's going for the attack boost there. Imran Mazar diving into the attack boost, holds the position ahead of Luengo, so now probably opened the gap up ahead to about 1.5 seconds. I'm going to take a guess up, and definitely probably actually a bit more, and it's going to have to now use the advantage of this attack boost to claw that time back and see if he can get past and claim that position, Travis.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if he's been fighting with Matias Luengo because he's 2 seconds behind Carlos Maciotis. He would have lost some time going through the attack boost, but he was within a couple tenths. So he either made a mistake or he's done this before where it looks like Imran Azar is fading, and then suddenly in the closing stages of the race he's right there. But as far as we can tell, Carlos is managing this race really well. So we watch this train of 3 cars battling for a single position. That's Gabber ahead of Cyril Basset, much further down the order he would like to be. Yeah, Carlos managing the race really well, though. As I said that, Imran Azar closes 6 tenths in the span of 1 sector on track. Cyril Basset looking inside Gabber. He'll feel really good about that. I would be screaming in my helmet if I sent one on Gabber. Nicely done up into 7th position. That was done on pace and talent. So well done to Cyril Basset. Boost does help, but that was, I think that was nicely done by Cyril Basset. He'll be pretty pleased with that. Yeah, Careless managing well at the front as we look. Imran Azar looking mighty quick out of the last corner with all his extra power. He's got the extra boost and another 2 minutes of it. Carlos Maciotis ahead of him chose to go through, so that accounts for the gap coming down so quickly from 2 seconds down to 3 tenths. So Imran Azar will have 1 more boost remaining after this. Carlos Maciotis completely out of the extra power. Matias Luengo has also gone through the attack boost. Looks like a lap later than Imran Azar. So Careless needs to manage this. Just keep the gap to Imran Azar while also conserving. And then he needs enough of a gap and enough of an energy buffer that he can push to the end to keep Imran Azar behind him. All to play for here, just shy of halfway through the second round of the E-Challenge 2026 season.
Yeah, these two fighting really closely at the front here. It's going to be interesting to see if Imran Azar is able to use sort of like the slipstream effect to hold himself within Carlos Maciotis while he's got it. But definitely, as you said, the diving to the attack boost did bring that gap down a lot. As Imran Azar, weird one, it's just yo-yoing. He was getting really close and then he dropped to a second back and then closed in again, then dropped back. Ooh, big slide from Carlos Maciotis, which could spark disaster for their race. Still need to be careful through that. A lot of time to gain, but also, is it worth the risk if anything goes all so horribly wrong, Travis?
Yeah, he looked like he was awfully deep on the power into the first corner and then hard on the brakes, the rear of the car all over the place. And I'm sure the regenerative braking makes it feels a little bit different from other cars, but still manages to keep it under control. Halfway through the race now, just past halfway through the race, running down the order, Carlos Maciotis is the leader from Imran Azar. That is Carlos just ahead of Imran Azar, with whom we are on board. Matias Luengo in 3rd, Gerard Fornielis in 4th position ahead of Teemu Sarkkinen. Nico Patola behind him, Cyril Basset in 7th. Gabber has fallen back. He's about a second and a half off Cyril Basset. Ronnie Krompush runs 10th, Stephen Martin 11th, and Magic in 12th position. Watching Carlos Maciotis lead Imran Azar through the final corner for the 14th time. And we got a race control message. That is car 87 drive-through penalty causing a collision in turn 1, lap 1. So the smoke we saw in the background, Tom, Nico being credited for that.
Yeah, I think he just got a bit too overly optimistic with someone, and well, that was the result, and that's the penalty. Oh, that looked very, very close to the camera cut away. I think everyone survived, but that was, there you go. Nico through on the position into 6th place, I believe. 5th place. They got past Teemu Sarkkinen and is able to gain the position using that attack boost. Sorry, no, it's not using his attack boost, but got through. And I think Teemu Sarkkinen might have something to say about that and try and getting back in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, Teemu can just let this go. He knows Nico is going to be just pulling out of the way when they come through, after they come through the stadium and around turn 16, so he can afford to just hang out right under Nico's rear wing. He doesn't want to take it too easy because he's got Gabber lurking in the background. Gabber, who has recently taken the 2nd of his attack boost, that would have been a couple laps ago, so Gabber all out. Nico looks like he's choosing not to, or it's going to be a late dive for pit lane if he chooses to go. He does not, so Nico, if I recall the rules correctly, will have 3 laps. There's one of them to serve this penalty. So Nico, I guess to the best that we can tell, will try to stretch this gap that really isn't getting any bigger before he serves drive-through penalty, which will demote him to, it'll be somewhere around 10th or 11th position if the drive-through in the sprint race, the drive-through we saw in the sprint race was any indication. So Nico now right up behind. That is Gerard Fornielis in 4th position as it's getting tighter at the front, Tom.
Yeah, the attack boost has gone for Carlos Montoyotis. It's just on Imran Mazar. But just how long he coasts on some of these straights. That one between the hairpin and then the arena section, he's off the throttle for like half the straight. It's just crazy how long he's on that. And of course, probably trying to save loads of energy now, so when it gets to the sharp end of the race, he's able to exploit it as much as possible. Huge twitch onto the start finish straight there, which isn't going to help him. There you go. That's a 1 minute 5.3. So the pace is still there, and they've pulled 5 seconds now out of Luengo, but these two are still right there with each other, not letting any gaps go. We've got the onboard there of Montoyotis. It's just showing he's got the option, so it doesn't show the halo down in front of him, but just all around. As there we go, Nico is into the pits now, on the pit wall, obscuring his car as he's rejoining the track, as Ronnie Compos just goes, I think that's Ronnie, it's just going on through, and there we go, he is then slotted in to 10th position with a lot to do to try and claim back to where he wanted to be.
Ooh, taking a peek up the inside there, chooses not to do it. So field spread out a little bit now. I think we'll get a bit of action out of Nico and Rona Krampusch here, as at the front, Imran Azar still there lurking behind Carlos Montoyotis. Bit of a gap. Carlos just needs to keep it clean. Imran is a little bit scruffy through this corner. He's been up and over the curbs a few times, so costs him a little bit of time. And we're about to get an energy update 2/3 of the way through the race. Looking for that in just a moment as we watch Imran Azar come through the first corner. End of this lap. My apologies. End of this lap, we'll get an energy update. That will be the 2/3 mark. We have not completed lap 18 yet. I can do arithmetic, I swear. While we watch these two cars, Adal, you have driven them. Tom and I have not. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about like just how they feel when you're on the brakes, you have the regenerative braking, and just what the kind of things you have to do to conserve energy. Obviously, the wheel spin is wasted energy, so I feel like managing getting in the power really well is part of it. But is there a way to maximize the regeneration? Like, what do you do to drive the car as efficiently as possible?
So the most important thing is getting hard on the brakes everywhere you could, and the important thing with this, you have to know how to coast it. So the drivers that we see on top at the first place, second place, third place, they all know it. The important thing in electric racing with regenerative action is not directly knowing all the track, all the points, but the most important thing is...
Oh, Adul's audio cut out there for just a second, so we'll wait for him to come back so he can tell us the most important thing. A technical difficulty results in an incredible suspenseful moment. So we'll get Adul back in just a second and see what the answer is while we watch these two. One just nose to tail all the way around the racetrack. Carlos Montoyotis not giving into this pressure. Imran Azar rubber banding the accordion effect, as Tom said a moment ago. Imran there one lap and then falling back. This gap has been, I would say it's averaged around a half a second, 0.3 of a second. And there we go. Carlos slightly less. This is what happens. We see this. This was the previous lap, but we see that Imran just ever so slightly more energy. We'll see what it looks like when they cross the line, but Tom, this is the difference. This is the difference between a race win and second place. Imran Azar cuts these margins so fine. He has such a brilliant sense of how much energy he can use that 1 point, 1.5 points is all the difference.
Yeah, I think Montoyotis could be on a close one. Obviously, he does need the 3% lap. He's got 7, 8 laps. So it's going to be a very, very close one. So 8 laps to go. So it's going to be very close for him. He needs to keep himself in the green. And obviously, Imran Azar still has that attack boost, which is going to eat up a whole chunk of the energy for him. But looking up and down the green, I think everyone's just about okay. Maybe Luengo is going to be in a bit of trouble. 28% with still an attack boost to go. Could be some problems. Just going to be a bit more serious lifting and coasting to do over the last couple laps of the race.
Yeah, I feel like Carlos's average is probably okay considering he's used his attack boost. But as you said, Matías Luengo, Gerard Fornielis, probably a little bit tight. They got to get through that attack boost, that extra power. Speaking of, Matías Luengo is now through the attack boost. He yields third position to Gerard Fornielis, who still needs to go through that final attack boost. So these two, they they were intimately familiar with the challenges of conserving energy in the first round a couple weeks ago. Matthias Luengo, it's I think you're right, Tom. It's probably going to be a little bit close. We'll see how Willie manages at the front. Carlos Magiotis has extended the gap, put about a tenth on Imran Azar. So it's just the margins are just so close. Coming through lap traffic now, as we have Adol back to tell us what the answer is. What is the secret? What is the key to using these cars so effectively, Adol?
So the thing I was trying to say is before I got cut off is the most important thing is you have to know the coasting, and with coasting you're coasting to the just like the pinpoint of the braking point, and you're
Mister,
pressing
sorry
the
to
brakes
interrupt
100%.
you. Sorry to interrupt you really quickly. Imran Azar through the attack boost, so he's yielded about a second, but he's on attack boost behind Carlos Magiotis. Please continue.
Okay, so the most important thing, as I said, is getting on the brakes 100%. You maybe see on the other normal laps or with the sprint race that you're using 50%, 70% of the brakes to stabilize cars, but you're not seeing these things in races like this with regenerative action. You want to get 100% of the brakes, and that is the breaking point of this racing.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Looking at Teemu Sarkkinen on board now, I believe that is Gabber lurking behind him. It is. And Gabber, this event hasn't gone as well as he would hoped. A reasonably good recovery here in the feature event. Imran Azar, keep an eye on him because he's gone through the attack boost on the previous lap. 3 minutes remaining on it, so that will carry him a little less than 3 laps. About 1.1 seconds behind Carlos Magiotis in the lead right now. That is just reduced to half a second. So Carlos Magiotis needs to hustle and also save this energy if he wants to save Imran Azar. Imran Azar once again playing this perfectly as we look back from back and forward from Teemu Sarkkinen's E-Challenger Evo machine. Nicely down to the apex here as we look at Gabber's car askew at the front once more. Teemu takes a big bite of that tire stack, both of them wide over the white line there. I think this is Gabber trying to find a bit more pace and Teemu trying to keep Gabber behind him. Lots of sliding on the way through this corner, and Gabber going to be firmly in the slipstream here. See if he chooses to coast a little bit later, though. Yeah, Teemu Sarkkinen manages to get off the corner really well. Don't know if that was an early coast from Gabber, just lurking behind, or if he made a mistake up and over the curbing. Imran Azar sliding all over the place, Tom, not using this power very effectively.
Yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on this one. I think he might be holding his time. He does do a lot of lifting and coasting, so if he does want to actually go for it, he will, of course, still have the opportunities down the start finish. Obviously, he is a lot stronger than Carlos Magiotis through this arena section and the end of the race here. But of course, the gap just spreads out slightly here, and then he needs to make sure he doesn't slip and have a wheel spin like that, because that's going to cost him heavily into the straight here. So if he wants to make the move, he'd have to keep himself on the throttle, which he just doesn't do because you'd need to actually stop these cars. So
huge slide through
they
turn
don't
one
have
there.
the best aerodynamic stability either to provide the downforce as it's cutting the corners a little bit. So getting a little bit ragged there up ahead for Imran Azar.
Yeah, lots of pressure on Carlos here. Still taking this tight line into this corner. It seems like it's really working. I mean, if he can get the car around the corner rotated well and get the power down, as we cut back to Roni here behind Nico Patola. That couldn't tell if that was Roni avoiding contact or if they had a slight touch on the exit. Roni now a few car lengths back, so exciting moment on the exit of the last corner. Carlos managing this race really well through the last split. He was 0.6 up. Imran Azar has caught ever so slightly coming into the stadium here, showing about half seconds behind, and he's got 40 seconds remaining on his attack boost. So he's got the rest of this lap and then about half of the next lap on attack boost. We believe he is, on our last check, he was slightly ahead on energy. His budget was looking a little bit more favorable than Carlos, but Carlos still in the lead into turn one comfortably, managing this race perfectly. Does not seem to be fazed by the pressure from Imran Azar at all. And here we can see 10 seconds, just about 10 seconds remaining on the extra power for Imran Azar. Now he has it all to do with equal machinery. Early line into the corner again by Carlos, but he gets off the corner so well as now we're side by side in the background. This is Gabber on the outside of Teemu Sarkkinen. And it looks like he might have job done. Sorry, this is Matthias Luengo, not Mika Sarkkinen. Teemu Sarkkinen. I can't keep any of the names straight. Gabber is through. Timu's going to go through, get to the inside of Matias Luengo, and just like that, unfortunate for Matias Luengo, loses 2 positions, though he might just get this position back coming into the stadium. Oh, the over-under looked like there might be an optimistic dive there by Timu Sarkkinen to try to retake the position. Thinks better of the bold send, and he will follow through the stadium. 2 laps to go when Carlos Matioitis crosses the line. Equal machinery for Carlos and Imran Azar. About a half-second lead coming into the first corner. Oh, Imran Azar a little bit too hard on the brakes. Adal was saying you got to get as hard on the brakes as you can to get maximum regeneration, but you can't get that hard on them. You lock the tires. You flat spot them a little bit. That will cost him ever so slightly. And a crash somewhere. Nico hit a tire and it got into someone else. Now side by side with Cyril Bisset or Mika Sarkkinen alongside him coming through the final corner. So these 2 racing so close. Rony Krompush wants to get into the mix. This could be 3 wide into the first corner. Boogity, 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 Tom. Here we go.
Yeah, Rony making the brilliant move there up the inside, but I think he's going to run a little bit wide. He does, but he does avoid the wall, just allowing an opportunity to Nico to sneak on back past and retake the position away. But there we go. Everyone through okay. Final corner with a lap to go now. The gap between Imran and Carlos is close. Both drivers, lot of pressure. Great run at the minute from Imran Azar. This is a battle for first and also a battle for third going on at the same point.
Yeah, battles up and down the order. Gabber is through for third position, so we got to keep an eye on this. We got to keep an eye on the leaders. Imran Azar, 3/10. Oh, here we go. Imran, late dive. Oh, he gets the rear of the car. He avoids contact with Carlos Matioitis. The rear of the car just starting to get away from him. Great car control from Imran to avoid taking both of them out. Thinks better of trying to force a move when he didn't have the car fully under him. So Carlos Matioitis, great out of turn 6 on the power. A little bit of wheel spin. Lots of pressure here. Carlos Matioitis rising to the occasion. We'll keep an eye on the battles in the background. Gabber only 0.2 of a second ahead of Gerard Fornieles. Almost done for Carlos. So much wheel spin from Imran, trying as hard as he can. Carlos Matioitis, the second of those left-hand apexes. The third one now exiting the stadium complex. One more corner before he's out of the arena and onto this sweeping turn 16. Carlos has been getting through it so well. Imran Azar wheel spin. Carlos Matioitis, 1 corner to go. Into the power, out of the power, on the power once again. Carlos Matioitis, brilliant driving under pressure ahead of Imran Azar. Imran Azar gave it everything he had. Today, it's this one got away from Imran. Carlos had just enough. Imran left it ever so slightly late. Brilliant driving for both of these drivers. Fantastic victory for Carlos Matioitis. Behind them, Gabber has come across the line in third position. About 1 second clear, 2 seconds clear of Gerard Fornieles. Timu Sarkkinen holds on to 5th ahead of Matias Luengo. Cyril Bisset rounds out 7th. Someone spinning this Magic having a laugh before he crosses the line. He's not actually over the line yet. There we go. Oh, side-by-side drag race to the line. Rony Krompush, I think, just lost the position to Nico. Nico clears him by less than 1/10 of a second. Mika Sarkkinen rounds out the top 10. What a finish, Tom. Action up and down the order all the way to the line. Brilliant by Carlos Matioitis today as we watch Stephen Martin come through to finish 11th.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant battle all the way through. Position change on the final lap for third, and that brilliant defensive job by Carlos Matioitis to hold off the charging Imran Azar to take the win of the feature race there. Absolutely fantastic event.
There we go. The final standings on the board. The gap there belies how close the race for the win was. Carlos Matioitis on the top step. Gold medal today for him. 1.3 seconds clear of Imran Azar in second. Gabber manages to climb all the way up to third. A sprint to forget, and then a bit of a ragged feature, but manages to achieve a podium finish. Gets Gerard Fornieles in the closing laps. Timu Sarkkinen there in 5th ahead of Matias Luengo. Cyril Bisset finishes 7th. Nico Patola 8th, Rony Krompush in 9th. The two of them side by side. Sorry, Rony Krompush and no, it was Nico Patola and Rony Krompush side by side to the line. My mistake. Mika Sarkkinen rounds out the top 10. As we watch these drivers climb up to the top step of the podium, we will get a breath for just a minute. There you can see the final finishing positions 11 through 14 on the screen. We will take a short breather. We will invite our drivers to join the interview waiting room, and then we'll be back to have a chat with drivers who participated today. and then we'll round out our thoughts and close off the broadcast. We will be back in just a few moments' time. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. We are back here on Sim Broadcast. We've concluded the feature race for the second round of the MRC E-Challenge 2026 season. We've got Mika Sarkinen and Karolis Vantioitis waiting in the waiting room. We're going to bring in Karolis, winner of the feature race today. Karolis Vantioitis, congratulations on a win in E-Challenge. That was, I think, one of the most exciting ones we've ever seen. You stood up to a lot of pressure from Imran Azar. Brilliant win.
Oh yeah, that was massive fun. I think the win was mostly strategic because Imran still has plenty of charge. I think he has around maybe 1% at the finish, and in general, in raw pace, I would expect him to be faster. So I focused all I could on keeping him behind me because in this track you really only have one safe place to overtake, the main straight. The back straight could be an option as well, but the way I take the hairpin, I go quite slow there. I hug the inside as best I can, and I have really good launch of that hairpin. So it is I saw pretty much everyone going far back behind me after the hairpin, so that keeps only the main straight for overtakes.
We talked about that. We observed that on the stream, that you took that narrower line into the corner, and we thought at first it was kind of an odd defensive move when Imran was never that close, but then you got the power down off the corner so well. Seems like a trick that you found. I don't know if you found it today or in practice, but you were the only one doing it that we could see. But it was, brilliant driving through there.
It also comes to setup differences, I think, because I didn't check his tires, but I think his was quite hot. I was running lower pressures, lower cambers, so I think that helped me put the power down. Also the fact that when I go so narrow, I can straighten up the car quicker. So I pointed towards the next apex a bit earlier than if I were to go faster there. If I were to go faster, I would still be turning when I need to put the power down, which opens up for wheel spin.
Sure, makes sense. And last question from me. You mentioned that Imran had a little bit of energy remaining there at the end. We thought after you had been through your second attack boost, and after Imran took his, that kind of the balance of energy was favoring Imran because he's so good at coming late with a little bit of extra energy and running you down. But this, today he looked like he was struggling on power. He had lots of wheel spin. and you were able to hold that gap. Could you tell that he had mistakenly left some in reserve, or was it just everything you could do to keep him in your mirrors?
Yeah, it was essentially, well, almost all I could do to keep him in my mirrors. I was trying to be strategic, pushing in some areas, coasting, saving on other areas where I know he cannot pass me. So yeah, a lot of thought was given into making sure I do have some reserve, because I knew that on the final lap, maybe final 2 laps, I will need to stress the battery to defend from him. So yeah, I was trying to have some reserve.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. Well done to you. That puts you in a championship hunt. Good finish in the sprint race, and now a feature race win. You are right up near the pointy end for the rest of this championship. 3 rounds remaining.
Yeah. Thanks.
Of
Massive
course.
fun.
You're great. You are welcome. Congratulations as Carlos Machiotis winner today. We will pull in Mika Sarkkinen next. Mika Sarkkinen, good finish today. In the there in the middle of the pack. A bit exciting. It was your brother who finished in the middle of the pack. I feel really bad now. I apologize for that. 10th place finish in the feature today. I was about to say it was a little more exciting for him than it was for you, but it was actually you in the sprint race. Looked like it was a bit rough further down the order.
Yeah, I mean, the sprint race, it's the one to forget. I mean, the start looked fine. I was competing for like P8, P9, P8 or something, but then unfortunately I had a contact with Nico in the start-finish straight as I was passing, and he just turned into me for some reason. And that kind of started a snowball effect, so I started making mistakes, and my car was not doing so well, so it was difficult to drive, so I ended up on my roof.
Yeah, we noticed we came to that late. How did you end up on your side through another homicide, or was it self-inflicted?
Well, it was my own mistake, but it was just in the end it was the car being so broken. Whenever I was turning right, it would oversteer like crazy. So after turn 1, I got very much oversteer, and then I just went side first to the curbs. I mean the sausage curbs there. So nothing I could do in there.
Fair enough. And today, one to forget. You managed to get into the top 10 in the feature race, but looking forward to the next round, 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, the feature race, it was quite a good one. I enjoyed it, and it's a good result for me. I'm happy for that. Even though I had 2 more positions to gain, I was having very close battle with Ronnie and Nico in the end there. But I just lost that 0.8 of a second to both of them as they just finished side to side.
Yeah, tell us about the view from the back, because there were fights up and down the order. It was close at the front. We were following with Carolus, and then Gabber got through to take the podium in the last sequence of corners, and then there was a drag race to the line. Did you feel like you could sneak into that and swipe that position, or were you just a spectator?
Yeah, I could have, but I just spent a little bit too much energy on the last lap, and I was the one to run out of battery on the last corner, so I just scrolled through.
So it goes. Well, sounds like you had a good time. Hopefully, next time out there is less. You experience less fin-on-fin violence, and you have a better time in the sprint race.
So.
Have
a
word.
Looks very nice, to be honest.
It does. Yeah, have a word with Nico and tell him to settle down.
That
is Mika Sarkkinen, 10th place finisher in the feature today. Thank you very much for joining us in the booth, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. See you next time.
Let's get a word with Imran Azar, 2nd place finisher in the feature today. Imran, 2nd place in the feature, winner of the sprint. That was so thrilling for us to watch. You came up just a little bit short. Careless looked so strong in the final. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, very challenging race. I knew Careless would be strong, but wow, he really surprised me with the pace he had today. Especially in the sprint, I was in the lead, yeah, and he was second, and I mean, yeah, pretty much for me, it's just a matter of just controlling the race, really. But he got really, really close, which was a bit pressuring in some sense. But I think that he overtook me once because he took the boost earlier, and then I took the boost a bit later, so he managed to get ahead. He did tell me that he regret like not defending the inside into turn 1 in the first race, which I think he learned quite a lot in the second race, which I honestly couldn't find a way past in the second race. Like I really like pushed pretty hard, and like I think, to be honest, like my race was mainly like I think I had more charge than him in the second race, but the like I don't know, I just struggled to like look after my tires really. So my tires were like really red hot. So every time like I just couldn't like get the exit I needed to like pretty much do the overtake. So I think he really like, you know, managed his race really well in that perspective. So I really congrats to him.
Yeah, we noticed that in the closing of the feature race, it looked like you were struggling to get the power down. That the tires, the car wasn't working so well for you. It's interesting that you say in the sprint race that you felt like there was more pressure. It looked to us like it was completely planned from lap 1, where Carolus took his boost early, and then you were able to just let him overtake when you got the boost, and then you had it well in hand. But it sounds like it was a little closer than we realized.
Yeah, I mean, well, anyone who's close to you is a bit like, will give you pressure. I mean, it's just up to you to see whether, you know, like you have like you feel that pressure or not. I mean, like I think yeah, I mean it was like ideally you want to have like a bit more of a gap, but I think yeah, Carolus like drove really quickly, especially like in the first race, like to keep that close to me. And then like there's sometimes like he was like looking into the inside of the hairpin, which I gave a bit more space and stuff. So yeah, it's not really super controlled, but like it's like, you know, you just have to deal with the pressure as it comes to you. So yeah.
Yeah, and then in the feature race, we were certain we were watching another Imran Azar masterstroke where you kept enough energy right to the end of the race, and then you use that to pounce and take the position, and then you finish 1.5 seconds of clear. Today it seems like Carolus, like I mean, you said at the top, Carolus really surprised you that he was able to go quick and conserve that much, and then you left just a little bit too much on the table. Is that how you would describe it?
Maybe. I mean, if I were to look back into the race, I think I would probably have what I would have changed would have to made like making the move a bit earlier, because I think that's when my tires were a bit better, and then like, you know, focus on managing from in front and like bending and stuff. But I think I left it a bit too late in terms of like trying to make the move, because I knew that like by staying behind, like I would save more than him, but you know, trying to get the good exit that I needed to make that move, like I just couldn't use the energy that I had because of like the tires were not like, you know, in its optimal temperature. So
of course.
Yeah.
Sense. All right, well, thank you for joining us in the booth. Congratulations on a second place in the feature today, a sprint race win, and I believe, we haven't run the numbers, but I believe that will put you in the championship lead going into the third round. So once again, congratulations. Thanks for joining us in the booth, and we will talk to you next time.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. Imran Azar, everybody. One more interview. We got Cyril Basset. Cyril, seems like it went a little bit better today. A nice top 10 finish, and you had some pace. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was, well, mixed feelings again, but slightly better than the previous round. I'm surprised I got P3 in the quali, to be honest. I didn't do a bad lap by all accounts, but I think the faster guys messed up a bit too much, so P3 on quali, that was quite good. Then the sprint race, that was a bit one to forget, I guess. Murdered twice. I did a barrel roll. That's really important.
Ooh, Tom and I wondered about that. He predicted that somebody would go on their lid, and we saw a car go tumbling in the background, and we weren't sure if it had gone all the way over or if it would just gone up and on its side. And now we know.
I did. Yeah, I got a push from behind and rolled the car. So I had to go from the back of the field twice, and I just did what I could to get up to P9. then I thought maybe I could catch up to Ronnie, but he was pretty far, so that would have been difficult, and the safety car just killed that last hope.
Yeah, you had a bit of a scrap with Gabber in there. That had to be exciting, overtaking Gabber on the power into the stadium.
Yeah, well, Gabber is faster than me. That's there's no question there. He overtook me with the attack boost, I think, and I took the boost a few laps later, and I was able to just pass him again, and cost him a bit of time defending just a tiny bit, but he overtook me again pretty quickly after that. Other than that, yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, other than that, I stayed on my energy target, and the rest of the race was okay. It was a smooth sailing.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, last question. Looking ahead, we're coming up on the halfway point of the season. It'll be between the sprint and the feature in the third round. You've got pace. We've seen you go really quick. We've seen you run at the front. How do you get the full package together and get a really strong result?
Well, I think the experience is starting to build up from the past 2 seasons, and it's a matter of really not trying not to overuse energy. I think it looks like I'm just managing to get the power down without wheel spin, or too much of it at least, and finding just the right braking to avoid overusing the battery. Not to the level of Imran, Carolis, and the likes, but I'm doing a decent job at it.
Yep, and we have seen it. We hope to see you closer to the front, if not at the very front, soon. Cyril Basset, everyone, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary booth. We'll bid you adieu and merci.
Thank you. See you next time.
There we go. That concludes our interviews. Schedule up on the screen now, February 22nd. We will be at the South City Northern Circuit, a new route through the South City, the streets of South City. After that, 2 weeks behind the round 3, it'll be round 4 at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit before we conclude the season at the Norris Ring. A month and a change from now. I think that concludes all of our business. Tom, Adal, final words. Tom, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I think it was a typical welcome back to E-Challenge. Here's some absolute chaos, carnage, and some fantastic racing. So yeah, it was a really brilliant to see again. I really do love commentating on getting to watch this event. So it was really, really brilliant. I can't wait really for 2 weeks' time. I think it's going to be a brilliant event again.
Yeah,
Adal,
I think same. Yeah, great racing, great broadcasting. I really had fun.
Excellent. Me too. Nothing to add, no notes. I will not be here next week. I'm not sure who's taking the lead. Might be Tom Jones. Might be a surprise. I will be away doing some real racing. So round 3, you will not hear my voice, but I will return for rounds 4 and 5 to conclude the season. That is all from us. For all of us here at Sim Broadcast, I want to thank the New Dimension Racing Team, the JPs, for helping put on this event. MRC, Michael Malik in particular, Pete and Elmo helping run the production. The guys back in our ears. Tom and Adal for joining me in the booth. Tom, so great to be back together again. Looking forward to the rest of the season. For our drivers participating and all of you watching, we couldn't do this. We wouldn't do this without you. There wouldn't be much point. So once again, we're thrilled to have you for another round of the E-Challenge. We'll see you again in a couple weeks' time. Wherever you are, be safe, be well. Enjoy the rest of your evening or your morning if you're in the far east of the world, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.